started getting really into this space of personal development when I was, I would say 18, like when I left home. I was going through a really pivotal time in my life. I was, in my tiny residence room in university before leaving, locked myself in my room and decided I wouldn't leave until I figured out what I wanted to do with my life. I was reading my first personal development book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It was like the Bible to me at the age. It was the perfect book to start with. And anyone listening that has never read a personal development book, which I doubt because you're listening to this podcast, definitely read that book. It was just kind of the basics. And so I kind of just delved into that. And it was really, I hate the word, but it was a journey. You know what I mean? It was a journey, and then I started meditating as well around the same time, and I can't say that I had this massive shift like overnight. It really did take years, and on the show I just didn't feel like myself at all, and it was kind of a gray area time because I was partying a lot, and I just wasn't being in tune with myself. I wasn't me, and it was after I left and after I started dating my boyfriend Ben, actually, where I stopped drinking, and I just really started doing the inner work, and every single morning I would do my morning routine, and I would journal, and I would meditate, and then I started recording these voice notes to myself that I would listen to in the morning, and they're like motivational little voice notes because I wanted to feel motivated in the morning. I didn't know how. And then with my podcast microphone, because I've had my podcast for years, I started in GarageBand, like putting music to these motivational pep talks, and I'd start listening to those in the morning. And then, a couple years later, who would have known that I now have a motivational meditation app, and it's now something that has kind of created from that place of recording for myself, So it really just, there was no aha moment. It was really gradual and just doing the work and being consistent. But I do feel like this year I've looked back and I'm like, wow, this year I've really noticed the massive transformation and change, like just in my like inside, right? Like my mind and the way I think and the way I act, my energy is completely different. And even my OG podcast listeners will say like, whoa, you've changed so much. And I'm like, oh, like I didn't even think that, the podcast could have exuded that massive transformation, but it's just been me becoming more and more myself. And it wasn't this big change where I've become this whole new person. I'm just becoming who I've always been. And I lost myself for a little while. And I think it started around the age of 12 or 13 until 2 years ago. Honestly, I just lost myself. I wasn't.
How did you lose yourself? Get more detailed with that.
I started caring a lot what other people thought of me. I became really insecure. I kind of went through a hard time when I was like a teenager, and I wasn't me. I put on this like fake confidence, and it wasn't me. And I just was lost. That's all I can say. I was just lost, and I was just doing things for the wrong reasons, just trying to be accepted by people. And now it's just like I do everything for myself and to serve people. And I know it sounds really tacky, but like my mission in my life, like I'm living my truth. Like this meditation app, like what I'm doing now, where I'm living, everything I do is just so aligned. And I'm really happy that I reached this point at this age, but I had to go through so much life to get here.
When you say you stopped drinking, did you stop drinking because you just didn't want alcohol in your life? You had a problem? Why did you decide to stop drinking?
I definitely was partying too much. And that was like, I was young, I was in London, I was having fun and going out a lot. And it was kind of the environment I was in. And I never felt good being in that environment. It was just, it wasn't aligned with me. And I don't not drink. I have, a glass of wine here and there every couple months. But the drinking and partying and going out late, it really messed with my headspace. I lost myself again when I would be doing those things. And I didn't like how I felt. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like, my self-image when I would be drinking and partying. And it's a great way to get clear, is to stop drinking. And I don't think you need to cut it out severely if you don't have an issue with it. I don't think I was ever addicted. I just followed the crowd. But it didn't make me feel good. And the habit of going out and drinking every week just really deterred me. And I truly believe that if you want to reach massive success in your life, you're going to have to reevaluate your habits. What are you doing that may make you average?